Welcome to day 4. We're going to continue talking about arc and angle measures. So we're going to take a look at page 24, interior intersections. So these angles are formed inside the circle. So let's first take a look at angle 1. Angle 1, here's angle 1. Angle 1 is across from arc, put it in green, AD, and this across from arc, BC. So the formula for finding the measure of the angle is that the angle is half the arc. So the first arc is AD plus the second arc, which is BC. So we have to add the arcs together and divide it by 2. Take a look at the measure of angle 2. So angle 2, the formula is angle 2 is equal to half which arc? What's across from angle 2? Well, arc BC and arc DC. So the key here is going to be find the angle and find the arc that it's across from. So let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 says find angle AED. Angle AED. So that's going to be that angle and this angle. Well, the angle is across from 45 and the other angle is across from 109. So the first thing you want to do is write down the formula. The angle, which is angle E, is equal to half, I'm going to call it arc 1 plus arc 2. So the angle, we don't know what it is, I'm going to call it variable x, is equal to half. Arc 1 is 45 and arc 2 is 109. Okay, and so what we get when we add 45 plus 109 and then divide it by 2, we find out that x is equal to 77 degrees. Let's go to our next example. Here we're looking for the measure of angle STR. So from S to T to R. So I mark it here. I don't know what it is, but I do know that it is across from an arc on each side. So I'm going to write down the formula. The angle, which I don't know, is equal to half of arc 1 plus arc 2. Those will be the arcs that they are across from. So the measure of this angle is equal to half 186 plus 112. So now what we want to do is we want to add 186 plus 112. And then last step divided by 2. And we get that x is equal to 149. So the measure of the angle is 149 degrees. All right, let's take a look at number 3. It says find the measure of the angle YWX. So I'm going from Y to W to X. So that's right here. Well, the arc across has no information. And the arc across here has no information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change colors. And I do see that this angle here is across from 43. And the angle, vertical angle on the other side is across from 81. So what I'm going to do is I will find that angle first. So the angle, which is x in this case, is equal to half arc 1 plus arc 2. X is equal to 1/2 43 plus 81. So x is equal to 62. So that angle is 62 degrees. So I want you to watch this. That angle is 62 degrees. I'm going to erase this that's in here. And I'm going to go back here and put that this angle is 62 degrees. So this angle is 62 degrees and the angle across from it is 62 degrees. So if I want to find the other angle, I need to do 180 minus 62, which gives me 118 degrees. So, and I'll put it in green. This angle is 118 degrees, and so is the angle across from it. So the measure of angle Y, WX, is 118 degrees. Let's take a look at the next example. Angle 5, oh my goodness, this says find the arc. C to D to E. So let me just trace that out. Here is the arc. Well, the arc is across from an angle, and the angle is across from another arc. So what I'm going to do, it is different than what I've been doing, but I'm going to set up my formula. And my formula is the angle is equal to half of the arcs. Well, in this case, I'm given the angle, which is 128, is equal to half of arc 1, which is 73, plus arc 2. We don't know what it is, so we're going to call it x. So what I'm going to do with this one, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 so that I can get rid of the 2. Once I do that, I get 2 times 128 is 256. So 256 is equal to 73 plus x. I'm going to subtract 73 from each side. I get x is equal to 183. So this arc is equal to 183 degrees. So the key here, look at your problem, see how you need to set it up. These intersect on the inside of the circle. So we do our angle is equal to half arc 1 plus arc 2. Now what's interesting is we are going to have actually an angle that's on the circle. Okay, so the measure of angle 1, check out angle 1, I'm going to put it in red, is right here, is going to be half of the arc. And what is the arc that goes with angle 1? It is arc AB. Let's take a look at angle 2. It makes up the rest of the line. Angle 2 is equal to half of arc BCA. The measure of arc BCA. Okay, so let's pause for a second and think about what we have learned. We've learned that if the angle is on the circle, the angle is equal to the arc. We learned that if the angle is on the circle, the angle is equal to half of the arc. We know that if it intersects somewhere inside the circle, then the angle is equal to half of arc 1 plus arc 2. Okay, so I'm going to put the angle in red. This will determine which formula we use. We're going to find the angle and then we'll determine which formula to use. Take a look here. All right, ask yourself, where is the angle? DEG. Here it is right here. It's on the circle. So when we think about our three formulas that we know so far, the angle is equal to half the arc when it's on the circle. So what do we do from here? Well, the angle, we don't know, so we put x, is equal to half of the arc. Let's see what the arc is, which is across from angle DEG. Oh, that's 308. So we are going to take half of 308, and x is equal to 154 degrees. And this is 154 degrees. So the key is find out what the angle is and set up your problem. All right, so this is arc XY. I'm going from X to Y. So that is this little piece right here. And I don't know what it is yet. Let me see what else I know. I know that from here, this angle here is 151. So if this angle is 151 and this is a straight line, then 180 minus 151 is going to give me how much? It's going to give me 29. 29 degrees. So let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, 29. So I cleaned it up a little bit, and we know that this is 151. So we know that this side over here, the rest of the angle is 29 degrees. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to do this two ways. So this, the angle, is equal to half of the arc. So the angle we found is 29 is equal to half of the arc, which we don't know what that is. We'll call it x. We'll multiply both sides by 2, and we get that x is equal to 58. So this arc is equal to 58 degrees. Well, in blue, let me show you another way to do it. If this angle here is 151, the angle is equal to half the arc. So we know the angle is 151 is equal to 1/2 the arc. And if we're solving for the arc, we're going to multiply by 2 and multiply by 2. Once we multiply by 2, we get that the arc is equal to 302. So this whole arc is equal to 302, and we know the whole thing is 360. We take 360 and subtract 302, and again we get 58. So this part of the arc is 58. So two ways to do it. Now we're going to talk about when your angle intersects outside the circle. So the angle intersects outside the circle. So here's the angle, it's outside the circle. Here's the angle, and it's outside the circle. Well, the formula is going to be the angle is half. Everything is going to be half, except if it's from the center. And it's going to be the arcs inside parentheses, except instead of plus, this is going to be minus. So let's take a look at this first one. Here's an arc, and here's an arc. We're going to put the big arc first. So it's going to be CE minus BD. Okay, this one is going to be BD minus CB. And this one is going to be BDC minus BC. Okay, so let's recap one more time. So if your angle is formed at the center, the angle is equal to the arc. If your angle is on the circle, the angle is equal to half of the arc. If your angle forms anywhere inside the circle, the angle is equal to half arc 1 plus arc 2. Now we have something very interesting. The angle is formed outside the circle, and the angle is equal to 1/2, but now it's arc 1 minus arc 2. Let me show you the angles that we're looking for in red. This one will be in the center, on the circle, somewhere inside, and somewhere outside. So now you have to think through before you set up your equation, where's the angle? So here we ask ourselves, where is the angle? And the angle is outside. So we're going to write down our outside formula. The angle is equal to half arc 1 minus arc 2. So the angle, we don't know what it is, we'll call it x, is equal to 1/2. Put the big angle first, arc first. So it's 66 and 140. So it's 140 minus 66. So what do we do first in this case? We want to do our what's in parentheses, and we're going to get, after we do that, get an answer and divide by 2. We're going to get x is equal to 37. So this inside angle is 37 degrees. Okay. All right, well this one, it does look a little different, but we ask ourselves, where is the angle formed by the two? secants or tangents. So here it is. It's outside the circle. So the angle is equal to half arc 1 minus arc 2. Let's see what we know. We know from here to here is 313. And so we know from here to here it's going to total up to 360. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 360 minus 313. So as soon as we do that, we find out that this part of the arc is 47 degrees. So now we have enough information to plug in for our formula. The angle, we don't know, is equal to half of the big arc, which is 313, minus the other arc, which is across from the angle, which is 47. So we are going to add, we're going to take 313 and subtract 47, and then we're going to take that answer and divide it by 2, and we get 133 degrees. So this outside angle is 133 degrees. Let's do one more example. This one, where is the angle? It's outside, so the angle, write the formula, is equal to half arc 1 minus arc 2. Since it's outside, we use a subtraction. Let's see what we can fill in. Do we know what the angle is? Yes, it is 40. Let's go ahead and write in 40. Next, we write in half arc 1. Do we even know what arc 1 is? No, we're going to call it x. It's the big angle. Minus the smaller angle, which is 75. We are going to multiply each side by 2 to get rid of our fraction. And we get 80 is equal to x minus 75. Okay? So now that we do this, we're going to add 75 to each side. We get x is equal to 155. So this arc out here is 155 degrees. Again, we have to think about the angle. Where is the angle? Then you want to fill in as much information as you can. Sometimes you have to subtract stuff from 360. It's different things you have to do. Then write the formula, set up, and solve. Thank you.